Hades Horror Files.
I stopped answering unknown phone numbers after what happened in apartment 14. Not because of scammers, not because of telemarketers, because sometimes, late at night, I still get calls from my old roommate, Noah. And Noah has been dead for 3 years. It started back when I was 24. I had just moved into a cheap apartment complex on the edge of Chicago with my best friend, Noah. The building was old, poorly maintained, and smelled permanently like cigarette smoke and wet carpet. But the rent was low enough that we didn't care. Apartment 14 sat on the 4th floor at the very end of a narrow hallway. The weird thing was, nobody stayed in that apartment very long before us. The landlord joked about it during the lease signing. "People get jumpy here," he said with a laugh. At the time, I assumed he meant noisy neighbors or bad plumbing. I wish that had been the problem. The first month was normal. Mostly. There were little things that felt strange, but nothing major. We'd hear footsteps in the hallway outside our door around 2 in the morning, even when nobody was there. The bathroom light occasionally turned on by itself. And every now and then, we'd wake up to the sound of knocking coming from inside the walls. But old apartment buildings make weird noises. That's what we told ourselves. Then Noah found the Ouija board. It happened while we were cleaning out the storage closet in the hallway near the laundry room. The building manager had apparently been using it to dump abandoned junk from previous tenants. Old lamps, broken chairs, boxes of clothes, and underneath everything else sat a Ouija board in a black wooden case. Noah thought it was hilarious immediately. "You know we have to try this." I told him absolutely not. But Noah loved paranormal stuff. Ghost hunting videos, haunted places, urban legends. He was obsessed with all of it. And honestly, part of me was curious too. That Friday night, we invited 2 friends over, Kayla and Eric. Around midnight, we turned off the lights, lit candles, and sat on the living room floor with the board between us. Rain tapped softly against the apartment windows. The building around us felt unusually quiet, almost empty. No TVs from neighboring apartments, no footsteps, nothing. Noah grinned. "All right, spirits, who's here with us?" Nothing happened at first. Eric immediately started making jokes. Kayla looked uncomfortable. Then the planchette moved. Slowly, yes. The room went silent instantly. Noah laughed nervously. "Okay, which one of you moved it?" Nobody answered. I remember staring at everyone's hands. Nobody looked like they were pushing. Noah swallowed hard. "What's your name?" The planchette slid carefully across the board. R-O-S-E. "Rose," Kayla whispered. Noah nodded slowly. "Do you live here?" "Yes." The apartment suddenly creaked loudly above us, like someone dragging furniture across the ceiling. The problem was, there was no apartment above ours. Apartment 14 sat on the top floor. We all noticed that at the same time. Eric forced a laugh. "Okay, that's messed up." Noah leaned closer. "How did you die?" The planchette stopped moving, then suddenly jerked violently beneath our fingers. Fell. A cold feeling spread through my chest. "Fell from where?" I asked quietly. The board answered immediately. "Stairs." At that exact moment, something slammed against our apartment door. Bang! All 4 of us jumped. Silence followed. Then came slow knocking. 3 knocks. Knock, knock, knock. Noah stood up carefully and looked through the peephole. His face drained of color instantly. "What?" Eric asked. Noah stepped backward slowly. "There's a woman standing out there." Nobody moved. Kayla whispered, "What does she look like?" Noah swallowed hard. "She's staring at the door." "Is she hurt?" He shook his head slowly. Then he whispered, "I don't think she's alive." The knocking came again. Knock, knock, knock. Then a woman's voice spoke softly through the door. "Can I come in?" Every hair on my body stood up. Something about her voice sounded wrong, not robotic, not demonic, just emotionless, flat, like someone reading words they didn't understand. Eric immediately walked toward the door. Noah grabbed him hard. "Don't!" The voice outside spoke again. "Please." Then silence. No footsteps leaving. Nothing. Just silence outside the door. Kayla whispered, "We need to stop this." She was right. But before we could move, the planchette started sliding on its own. Fast. She is here. The apartment lights flickered violently. Then all the candles went out. Darkness swallowed the room. Kayla screamed. Noah grabbed his phone flashlight immediately. The beam swept across the apartment. Nothing there. But then we heard breathing. Close. Very close. Somewhere in the living room with us. Eric whispered, "Who's breathing?" Nobody answered. Then came the sound of wet footsteps, crossing the hardwood floor slowly. Step, step, step. The flashlight beam shook as Noah aimed it around the room. And finally, it stopped. On the hallway leading to the bedrooms, a woman stood there, tall, pale, wearing what looked like an old hospital gown. Her dark, wet hair covered most of her face. Water dripped steadily onto the floor beneath her, and her neck bent sideways at an impossible angle. Kayla started sobbing immediately. The woman twitched suddenly, then rushed toward us. The lights exploded. Glass shattered somewhere in the apartment. Everyone started screaming at once. We ran in different directions. I grabbed Kayla's arm and pulled her toward my bedroom while Noah and Eric disappeared into the kitchen. The apartment sounded insane around us, furniture crashing, people shouting, wet footsteps sprinting through the dark. Kayla and I locked ourselves inside my bedroom. She was shaking uncontrollably. Then we heard Noah screaming, not yelling, screaming, the kind of scream you hear when someone is genuinely terrified. I ran to the bedroom door instinctively, but Kayla grabbed me. "Don't open it!" Then Noah's scream cut off abruptly. Silence filled the apartment. The only sound left was dripping water. Drip, 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 coming from outside my bedroom door. Then Noah's voice spoke softly from the hallway. "Hey, man." I froze instantly. Because something sounded wrong. The voice sounded strained, almost stretched. "Open the door." Kayla buried her face against my shoulder, crying. Then Noah laughed, except it didn't sound like him anymore. The laugh became deeper, wet, gurgling. Then came scratching against the bedroom door, slow nails dragging down wood. "We know you're in there." Not we. I whispered. "Call 911. Kayla tried. No signal. My phone didn't work either. Then something hit the bedroom door hard enough to shake the frame. Bang! Again! Bang! The wood cracked slightly near the lock. Kayla screamed. And then, silence. No scratching, no breathing. Nothing. A full minute passed. Then Eric screamed from somewhere in the apartment. His scream ended almost instantly. The lights suddenly came back on. Everything became quiet, completely quiet. Kayla looked at me slowly. "I think it's over." I wanted to believe her. I really did. We opened the bedroom door carefully. The apartment looked destroyed. Furniture overturned. Broken glass everywhere. Water covering the hallway floor. But Noah and Eric were gone. No blood, no bodies. Nothing. Then the elevator dinged from down the hall outside the apartment. The front door stood slightly open now. I don't know why we walked toward it. Shock, maybe. The hallway outside looked empty, until the elevator doors slowly opened. Noah stood inside, facing away from us, completely still. "Noah?" I whispered. He turned around slowly. His face. God. His jaw hung unnaturally low. His eyes looked cloudy white. Water poured from his mouth onto the elevator floor. Then he smiled, and behind him, crowded silently inside the elevator, stood dozens of pale, wet people staring at us. The elevator lights shut off. Darkness swallowed them. Then the doors slammed shut. Kayla and I ran. We didn't even stop for our belongings. We left the apartment complex that night and never went back. The police searched the building after we reported Noah and Eric missing. They found nothing. No signs of violence, no bodies. The landlord claimed several tenants had reported hearing strange noises in apartment 14 over the years. Mostly knocking. Always 3 knocks. Eventually, the apartment was sealed off. At least officially. But here's the part that still keeps me awake at night. About 6 months after everything happened, I got a phone call at 2:14 in the morning. Unknown number. I answered without thinking. At first, there was only static, then dripping water. Then Noah's voice whispered, "She wants to know if you'll open the door this time." And somewhere behind him, I heard knocking.